What is up, boys? So in this video that you are about to watch, I basically broke down Alex Chen's funnel, which is someone who is currently making like 250k per month from his coaching info product, which is super crazy, right? Let me just move this out of the way. Now within the video, you'll see my voice might be a little bit squeaky, might be a little bit soft because I'm super exhausted at that point, right? So hopefully you guys push through it. Copy the funnel, copy what he does, scale your coaching, scale your info product, or at least see how he sort of structures his product, right? So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the video. And welcome. Today, we're going to be breaking down Alex Chen's 7-figure info funnel, all right? So just for some context, he's currently making around 250k. And that was back in January, right? As you can see here, this is Baston Slot, which is one of the most well-known coaches within this industry. He recently quit this coaching space to start to focus on his software product. So, one of the quite notable names, right? He's worked with Samuel Nuha, etc. But just to not keep sidetrack of this, in January, he hit 250k cash collected within January alone, right? So right now, he's probably making a lot more. And today, I'm basically going to break down his funnel so that you can copy it, personalize it to your own info product funnel, right? So let's start with the top of funnel, how he gains most of the attention, right? Because that is arguably one of the most important thing, right? If people don't know who you are, they probably would not want to sort of transact with you because they don't trust you yet, or they don't know what value you can provide yet, right? So how he gains those attention is one of the most important stuff that we have to study, right? So let's start with his main thing, which is YouTube, all right? Now, the reason why I put YouTube in between the top of funnel and middle of funnel is because it can serve both purposes, right? Quite recently, his content has been started to sort of target more of the mainstream e-commerce platform, right? You can see this collaboration with Tony. hey homie, I'm Tony, or something like that, which is super funny. And the content he published was sort of quite recent, right? It is not that long ago. Since 4 months ago, he started publish content quite consistently, and quite recently, he has emphasized a lot within his content side, right? But aside from content, he has clippers to essentially clip up content to be posted on his main Instagram profile or the other clip pages that he has as well, right? He has mainly 4 clip pages, right? Aside from YouTube, Instagram is one of his top main ways in terms of gathering the top of funnel attention, allowing people to know who he is, right? Get exposed to him, right? So Instagram is the second place. Now the third place would be TikTok, right? TikTok, he doesn't really focus much on it. He has clippers, right, to publish content on his behalf within TikTok, right? Because you can just see in terms of the views he got on Instagram versus the views he got on TikTok if he actually puts in the work, right? On Instagram, 18k views, 52.9k views, right? 27.3k, and that's the average, right? So it's averagely around 20 something k views, and this one even hit like 1.6 million views on his Instagram as well. Whereas his TikTok page is just sometimes it flop with 500 something plus views, sometimes it hit with 300 something k views, right? So you can see the efforts different between his Instagram and his TikToks, right? So just with his effort, you can sort of see which platform does he place most of his attention on, which is sort of Instagram, right? Because Instagram, it produces, if you have watched one of Alex Hormozi's breakdown in terms of when he breaks down different platform, Instagram was one of the top platform in terms of generating the most qualified leads. So aside from YouTube, aside from TikTok, aside from Instagram, the last platform he has is Twitter or X, right? So this one is just for him to essentially show his personality or show his personal life, right? He doesn't really funnel people, or he doesn't really hire a copywriter to write out his tweets. So so it's basically just him sharing his thoughts and tweeting some crazy stuff on there as well. But okay, so that is how he generates most of his top of funnel attention, which is through 4 different platforms: Instagram second, YouTube the first, YouTube is king, TikTok, and Twitter as well. Okay, so once he gained most of his top of funnel attention, where does he push people to so that people can sort of get to know and trust him, so eventually people can essentially purchase his info product or his coaching, right? And the way he does it is solely through YouTube, his newsletter, and his Instagram stories. is in terms of his Instagram highlights. So we're gonna break it down each one of them step by step, right? So let's start with YouTube right now. With YouTube, he has this separate channel which is called Winner Circle by Alex Chen, right? Which is essentially student interviews of his most successful student within his coaching program, Winner Circle, right? So within each video is normally like an hour long, pretty much, right? Because there's a study that Google came up with, which is the 7-11-4 rules, which states that on averagely, people need to consume 7 hours of your content across 11 different touch points on 4 different locations in order for them to trust you, right? And this is just like a study published by Google. And knowing that, I guess Alex is basically leveraging this trend to publish longer forms of student interview to show that, hey, I'm not hiring anybody, I'm not hiring like a actor to do this student interview. This is actually my students within this program. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of info product people that actually hires people to do their interview, right? Good stuff. Alex is not one of them, right? Which is amazing. And so within each student interview that he has, he funnels people into 2 main things. One is his info product, and the second one is his main YouTube channel, right? Nothing much. The second platform he pushes people into is his newsletter. Right now, this one is super interesting because once people actually click on this Winner Circle, they would be redirected to a page that looks something like this. I'm gonna spoil it out a little bit, right? It's gonna be redirected to his opt-in page, and his opt-in page looks something like this, right? You can see the headline, hey, how I turned $500 into an 8-figure automated empire, and how we can use this exact same system that have helped 150 plus entrepreneurs generate between 100K to $1 million plus monthly, right? This is just a VSL. When you click on this, a pop-up form will probably pop up, right? So let's try it out. Boom, there we go, the pop-up form. So once you put in your name, once you put in your email, this is where he can target you with your newsletter, right? So once you put in your information, this is where he can target you with his newsletter, right? So he's pretty consistent with his newsletter every single day, or close to like a couple times each day. There's emails that has been sent to you, right? So back to the 7-11-4 rule by Google, right? 7 hours of your content across 11 different touch points in 4 different separate locations, right? So he's leveraging that trend again, not only with his YouTube channel, but also with his newsletter as well. Okay, and the third place, which is super genius, is his Instagram highlights, right? You can see conquest here, one-on-one, the results, $121,000, free game here, client results 2025 with the Lamborghinis and all those stuff. Once people click and watch through those, they can see that, oh wow, this guy is actually legit. These proof within his highlights is just undeniable that he can actually help people out. Even free game that he puts out, right? Once people click on those, they be like, wow, this guy is not just a guru, he actually gets results. Okay. So one thing within his Instagram profile, which is super interesting, right? He funnels people to essentially 2 main spots. The first spot, which is the most important one, is his info product, which is Winner Circle. Okay. The second most important one that he funnels people into, I would say, is his Winner Circle YouTube channel, right? And then his brand, Bright Sports, his student results interview serves as a platform for him to build social proof, right? These two build social proof, whereas his Instagram and his his Twitter builds the nurturing process, right? So once people are not ready to buy it, but they really like Alex Chen, maybe his Instagram or his Twitter or even both, right, to get further nurtured by him, so that once his student or once his potential student is able to sort of afford it, they can sort of join right there and then. Okay, so there we go. Once people click on the Winner Circle within his YouTube description, they opted in. The winning page looks something like this, right? They would be redirected to a opt-in page, just like this one. Once they give in their information, such as their name, their email, what they will do is that you're gonna be redirected to the VSL page, right? Which looks something like this. And essentially, this is his VSL page. We're gonna actually break it down in terms of the concepts and what he says within this VSL, right? And we're gonna break down the different strategies and different psychology elements that he used within this VSL. So let's go. All right, so sweet. We're gonna break down his VSL right now. Watch it live, break it down live. any top of mind psychological principles that he used, that he leveraged within this VSL, I would basically point it out, right? So with that being said, let's actually dive into this VSL. Let's go.
But if you're willing to listen, learn, and actually do the work, I can promise you, this will change your life in ways you can't even imagine right now. How do I know?
Setting expectations, providing social proof, not only with his breakdown, not only with his Shopify dashboard that you see on the bottom left over here, but also his view, right? So we're going to see a couple of numbers that he generated within this VSL aside from his background, as you can see right back there, right? So let's continue though.
So many coaches out there made a bit of money a few years ago and tried to preach their outdated strategies, selling overpriced coaching about stuff that doesn't even work anymore.
Yeah, differentiation. He's trying to differentiate from himself with other different coaches that exist out there within this e-com space, right?
Or how about Jacob, who was 29 when he joined? He had a brand that was failing and he wanted to give up. He was working his electrical engineering job, which paid pretty well, but he wanted more out of life and he wasn't happy with his 9 to 5. Using the strategies
Yeah, more social proof here for sure.
And of course, it's not all about making money. It's about what that money means. Have you noticed that it's only the poor people who say money can't buy happiness? That's because they don't know what money is for. What money really means is freedom. Freedom.
Belief shifting. Money is not a tool in which you can, buy some different stuff, but money is actually freedom, right? Belief shifting aspect over here. 5 minutes in.
I was almost 16, riding my bike home with a friend when he mentioned someone.
Yeah, this is him basically selling his personal brand, right? His story, because story sells as a personal brand, right?
I've already hit $1.8 million in revenue. But here's the crazy part. I was still going.
Damn. Wow. Good for him, man.
They're going to try to shit on your dreams. And they're all going to say it's impossible. But you know what? Every single one of them is wrong. And me and every single one of.
Yeah, this is the sale of the identity, right? You want to be able to ignore all of the rest of the people that says that you cannot be something you are, but you just have to trust yourself. It's the self-identity of trusting in yourself, right? And this is basically him selling the identity that he wants his audience to have.
Your life right now is literally a reflection of who you are, what values you live, and decisions you've made. So if you aren't happy, it's up to you.
Right. This is again the sale of the identity, right?
We only have a limited number of spaces, and I'd rather fill them with winners and not people who make excuses. I call it the winner circle for a reason.
Yeah, scarcity, right? Limited amount of spaces, scarcity element.
I only want everything we've learned over the years, building multiple 8-figure brands. All our testing, all our failures, all our breakthroughs, we hand you the exact roadmap. You don't have to figure it out through trial and error like I did. You don't have to guess what works. You're stepping.
The guarantee in terms of what is within this program, he's basically laying it out all over here.
Into a. We don't follow any of the general dropshipping strategies, and we actually build legit long-term brands.
Yeah, differentiation again, right? We are not the typical dropshippers, right? This is another differentiation element within here.
The same strategies, the same systems, everything. You'll see how to take your store from just doing $1,000 a day all the way.
Right now, he's just advertising what is actually within the program, right?
Way to $10,000. We have one goal only: get you to 100K to 1 million a month in monthly revenue. That's it.
That is the guarantee. Get you to 100K per month through e-commerce.
Everything we do is focused on that. But as a Winner Circle member, you get instant access.
I'm wondering about the situation on tariffs right now. It's like at 140% at this current moment that I'm actually filming. I'm not really sure about that, But anyways, let's continue watching.
To entire network.
All right, call to action. There we go. Let's actually get back to the video. So now back from the VSL. Now the most successful info product landing page have a certain structure that people sort of stick to that is converting the highest, right? So meaning once people actually go to the page, the likelihood of them converting into a book call or converting into a sign up for something else that you offer would be significantly higher if you follow this structure. And this structure sort of looks something like this. Now, above the fold, you have the typical VSL here, the headline, the sub-headline, the subheading, who you're calling out here as well, and the different components of how you can help, right? After that, it introduces the problem section, okay? After the problem section, you have the mechanisms of false solution because, people, they like novelty, they like new stuff. It's like sort of e-commerce. The old meta is e-commerce. Now the new meta, and I'm just making something up, the new meta might be AI e-commerce. It is the same shit, just put in a different way, because now the market has been sophisticated by e-commerce. The new stuff is AI e-commerce. It sounds more intriguing. Therefore, people are more likely to want the new thing, right? So the mechanisms of the false solution is where people introduces the old way of doing stuff, right? And the benefits of the new way, qualifications of why, the info product creator is qualified to teach you, the offer that he has, his personal story, sometimes the pricing, or even the call to action to book a call, money back guarantee, and frequently asked questions, right? So you can see the same structure applies here as well, right? 90-day inner circle. This is just basically the guarantee, his story, right? Social proof again, winner circle, social proof, more social proof again, right? And what the program actually entails, right? More stuff within the program, what they're gonna get, well put together, by the way. And a guarantee again, right? So want to make your first 100K in the next 90 days, book a call and let's speak, okay? So I actually went ahead and booked a call, and once you actually book a call, there is no actual thank you page in place. So this is just mainly the page that people has, right? So once you opted in, you are being redirected to the VSL again. Again, I'm repeating this stuff, so just so you guys get a reminder of what the funnel looks like within the bottom of funnel. And in terms of the thank you page, there is no thank you page, all right? So let's just cross that one out. There's no thank you page. And on a high level overview, just on the surface level, this is what his funnels look like. On a deeper level, just to sort of reiterate on what his funnel looks like so you guys can sort of copy it, maybe screenshot it later on. I'm gonna show you guys the top of funnel, what it looks like, the middle funnel, as well as the bottom funnel. So let's break it down step by step, right? So top of funnel, just to reiterate, Instagram is the main platform he sort of pushes his reel out and let people know who he is or get exposed by who he is, right? YouTube is the second way people get to know, like, and trust him. Twitter just to show his personality, and TikTok, the main clips are mainly from his YouTube channel, right? YouTube main profile, which then his clippers clip into, different clipping pages, get published to different clip pages, which funnels them back to his Instagram profile, right? When it comes to TikTok and when it comes to X, all of his link in bio funnels back to his Instagram profile, right? Which is the main way he sort of nurtures people. There are multiple different clipping pages going on 3 main platforms, which is the first one is Instagram, the second one is YouTube, and the third one is TikTok, right? Now, middle funnel, once people get exposed to himself, exposed to Alex Chen, how does he get his potential student to know, like, and trust him so that he can nurture people to eventually sort of buy his info product? It's pretty simple. He has 3 main platforms. The first one is his student interview YouTube channel, where he asks his students and following the student success interview framework, which I'm gonna sort of, show you guys what his structure looks like. And he's basically using the link in the link in description strategy, which once people seen his YouTube videos, seen his student success interview, there's a link in bio for people to essentially click on the landing page, book a call, and speak to his sales team, and eventually enroll within the program. Okay. Now his middle funnel breakdown is through his Instagram nurturing strategy, right? So he has different clipping pages on Instagram, all goes back to his main Instagram profile. And within his main Instagram profile, he has different highlights and nurturing sequences in place to show that, hey, he knows his stuff, social proof, and some free game as well, right? We can see here, this is the social proof, this is free game, this is another social proof, this is maybe another social proof as well, right? A ton of nurturing assets within his Instagram highlighted profile page, right? And then as well as his daily newsletter, right? Now, I would actually suggest his newsletter to be more so value-based. I guess it is right now, but there are certain, 2/3 of his emails are essentially calling people to book a call, right? But value-based emails in terms of the market right now performs the best, right? A reminder of you and your brand, right? Email serves as that point where, hey, oftentimes you might see or not, the people that you buy from are often like people that make you laugh within a 10-second frame out of an hour-long conversation. And within that 10-second, the reason they made you laugh is a reason you want to buy from them. Sometimes it's sort of like this, right? And the industry has sort of changed a little bit. Now, am I somebody big to say that, wow, the industry actually changed? No, I'm not. I'm just someone that have clients that make 300K and a couple of numbers that we produce are for ourselves. But just from being in the space for quite some time, you can see that, hey, the market might be changing, right? But now we're going to wipe marketing instead of, direct marketing. All right, you know how those coders say like wipe coding, where you code using AI tools. Now the marketing place is coming to have a term which is wipe marketing. People like wipe, therefore people join. Okay, you made them laugh, therefore people join. Okay, some simple stuff like that. That is a personal brand. Now, out of topic, let's go into the conversion page. How does he convert people? It's pretty simple. Within the bottom funnel itself, there's another funnel, right? So, opt-in page. Once you give in your email and your phone number, it redirects you to this VSL page, which directs you to book a call. If you do not book a call, there's a newsletter to essentially drive you back to this VSL page, which then you can essentially book a call as well. That his newsletter also drives people to his YouTube channel occasionally. YouTube channel. And his success interview as well. Right, so there we go. This is all of his funnel. Hopefully you guys like this. And essentially, if you are a coach, you're a consultant, you have an info product, and you want to scale without the headache of a sales team, check the link in the description below. Book a call. You're going to speak directly with me. We're going to see how and if we can help you out. Right now, we do not work with a lot of people. We work with a select few partners, essentially 3 or 4 at the same time, which our whole goal is to scale you up to those 100K, eventually $1 million per month goal, right? But if you're a coach, you want to scale without the necessary headache of a sales team. You want to do paid presentations, webinars, paid events, paid masterminds. Check the link in the YouTube description down below and see how we could potentially help out, right? So see ya.